ito ang gusto mo, you're on the wrong channel. But if you want to learn how to corner in the street with 100% competence and confidence, this episode is for you. Pag kinombine mo ang matututuhan mo dito with everything that you have learned so far, we guarantee you will virtually eliminate the possibility of ever overshooting a corner again. Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of LearnMoto, ang channel na mahilig mag-share ng learnings about motorcycles and riding. In this episode, we will conclude the first round of our Anti-Overshoot series. Hinati-hati namin yung mga key topics into several rounds, with each round going into more detail than the previous one. Kung baga sa eskwela, para tayong tumataas ang grade level. Ginawa namin ito para maibahagi namin sa inyo in the shortest possible time yung mga essential skills that will have an immediate impact on your safety as a rider. So far, we have learned about braking, trail braking, vision, and countersteering. Ang mga ito ay foundation for today's topic. Although nakapag-track na ako at magta-track pa ako ulit, I am not a racer. I do 99.9% of my riding on the streets. Dahil itong channel na ito is about enhancing rider safety through skills development, huwag kayo mag-antay ng knee dragging dito because it won't happen. Because knee dragging should never be done sa kalye. If you want to be safe and consistent when cornering on the street, kailangan gamitin mo ang lahat ng natutuhan natin so far. Progressive braking is an absolute necessity. Kapag hindi pa swabe ang braking hand mo at wala kang braking confidence, three things can happen to you. A. You will slow down too much for the corner. B. You will go too fast in the corner kasi takot ka mag-apply ng enough brake pressure going in. And letter C. You might crash even before going into the corner. Number 2. Vision. Madalas sa dahilan ng aksidente ito sa kurbada because of two things. Number 1, masyadong mababa yung visual lead o malapit yung tingin. And number 2, target fixation. Parang yun nangyari sa rider na to. Instead of looking into the corner, tiningnan niya yung poste, kaya dumiretso siya. Number 3, countersteering. Kung gusto mo ng full control sa pagliko mo, kailangan alam mo exactly kung kailan liliko yung bike. Hindi pwede yung inaantay mo siya, at lalong-lalong hindi pwede yung tinatawag nilang body steering. Baka matulad ka dito sa isang to. Number 4, trail braking. Medyo controversial pa tong technique na to kasi ngayon pa lang to nagiging mainstream. Sa totoo lang, marami pa yung hindi talaga naiintindihan kung ano yung trail braking. Trail braking starts before the corner and continues when you're already in the corner. It is not a corrective measure na nagpepreno ka to correct your line where you're going too fast in the corner. That is called mid-corner braking at ito ay mas mahirap at mas delikadong gawin. In general, sa track at sa kalye, corner should be taken in a line that starts from the outside of the corner at the entry, down to the inside to the apex, and back to the outside on exit. This effectively increases the radius of the corner so we can go faster through it with less lean angle. On a racetrack, madaling i-identify kung saan ka papasok, saan ka mag-i-apex, saan ka mag-i-exit. Because in one session, ilang beses mo dinadaan-daanan yung kurbadang yon. Imposibleng magawa mo to sa kalye kasi palaging merong nababago. Baka may lubak, may dumi, may obstruction, or worse, merong kang kasalubong katulad nito. You can watch the full video in the link in the description below. Your limit should be defined by your lane. Never ka dapat lumampas dito. Teaching yourself na mag-ride ka within your lane lang does two things for you. Number 1, syempre, mas safe ka. And number 2, mas lalong tataas ang skill level mo kasi mas mahirap gawin to. Keep your bike, including your body, in your lane, lalo na pagka left-hander. I have had an experience in a left-hander na yung ulo ko is less than 1 foot away from the side of a van. The Total Control Curriculum specifies 10 steps to proper cornering. It is very detailed pero medyo overkill pang street riding. So, we decided to summarize it at nagdagdag kami ng ibang information from other sources din. Step 1. Position the bike. Stay as far to the outside and for as long as possible. This will allow you the greatest visual lead, allowing you to see further into the corner. Take note, however, that the gravel or any other obstruction may prevent you from going all the way outside. Adjust your speed for the corner using either engine braking or the brakes. I am not really a fan of relying only on engine braking, lalong-lalo na kapag hindi ko kilala yung kalye. Number one, it is not a very efficient way of slowing down or stopping your bike. Trabaho ng brake mo yon. Number two, nagkakaroon ng extra load sa transmission mo to at mas mabilis maubos yung clutch. Parang mas madali at mas mura yata magpalit ng brake lining kaysa sa clutch. Number three, you cannot modulate engine braking as well as you can the brakes. Paano kung kulang yung engine braking na kailangan mo and you're already in the middle of a corner? Number four, the benefits of rake and trail movement are not as pronounced when you are engine braking. Number five, engine braking does not have anti-lock. So, mas delikado ito kung madulas yung kalye. Whether you agree or not with our views on braking, that's up to you. But step 2 remains. You have to slow down or brake before the corner. Slide back in the seat away from the fuel tank to give you room. Reposition your inside foot so you are stepping on the peg with the ball of your foot. Pag mali ang position ng inside foot mo, baka sumabit ito sa kalye at high lean angles. Move your head and chest to the inside line of the bike. By how far you need to move it depends kung gaano kabilis ang takbo mo and how far you intend to lean the bike. The idea is, you want your body to be in the position it needs to be in kapag nandun ka na sa loob ng kurbada. Bakit kanyo? Kasi pag gumagalaw ka on your bike while in the middle of the turn, it upsets his balance. This is a very important step. Dapat nakaplano sa isip mo kung saan mo exactly ililiko yung bike. Saan nga ba ang tamang turn-in? The short answer is, the point that will allow you maximum visibility through the corner while still being able to make the turn safely. This means on the outside at the entrance to the corner. Yung pag-identify ng turning point, saglit lang yon. Pag na-identify mo na yon, you already look into the turn. Medyo nakakailang to kasi nakatingin ka doon sa loob ng kurbada pero umaabante pa yung bike mo. Now, when you look into the turn, kailangan yung ilong mo tsaka yung chest mo is directed to the inside where you want to go. Now, by how much you have to do that is again dependent on gaano kala sharp yung turn and gaano kabilis mo kinukuha to. If you look through the turn far enough, nawawala yung kaba mo kasi you have a lot of time to see, plan, and react. When you reach a turning point, countersteer to lean the bike and steer into the turn. Continue slowing the bike with either engine braking or trail braking. When you are already happy with the speed and direction of the bike, you can get back on the throttle. Kung mahaba ang corner, maintain your speed with neutral throttle. Do not move all the way to the inside of the apex yet. Itong concept na ito is from Yamaha Champion Riding School. When you are already in the corner, kailan nga ba yung tamang panahon to stop braking or maintaining speed and begin accelerating the bike? You accelerate the bike kapag nakita mo na yung exit ng corner. The point where you are when you see the exit is called the decision point. Bakit decision point ang tawag dito? Kasi dito lang talaga sa lugar na to, kumpleto ang information na kailangan mo to decide whether to continue braking or to maintain your speed or to accelerate. Dahil dito mo lang talaga nakikita ang magiging path of travel mo. Finding the apex. Alam mo nga, sa track, madaling hanapin yung apex kasi markado na yon eh. Pero sa kalye, lalo na kung hindi mo kilala yung kurbada, ang hirap gawin ito. So, paano nga bang hanapin yung apex sa kalye? Ang tip na to galing kay Canyon Chasers. According to him, kapag nando ka na sa decision point, imagine a line running from the outside of the exit going to you. Kung saan mag-intersect yung line na yon with the inside of your corner, that is your apex. Galing ano? Anyway, Dave Palazzolo of Canyon Chasers, maraming salamat ulit for allowing us to use your video. And guys, if you really want to learn a lot more, go to Canyon Chasers. Ang galing nila. You will notice that the moment you accelerate, the bike will begin to stand up on its own. Alalay ka lang if you're on a powerful bike. Make sure na hindi mauubos yung 100 points of traction mo with too much throttle while you are leaned over. Kung hindi, low side ang aabutin mo. Step 8, return to neutral position. For street riding, this simply means dumiretso ka na, no? Align your body with the bike. Number 1, too much speed in the corner. Siguro tayo ang lahat at one point na-experience natin yung nandun na tayo sa loob ng kurbada when we realized masyadong mabilis yung takbo natin. I think that's one of the scariest parts of riding pagbago ka. Obviously, kaya ka masyadong mabilis sa loob ng kurbada kasi kulang yung braking mo outside. Now, bakit nangyayari to? A big part of it kasi yung slow look press and roll na hanggang ngayon marami pa yung nag-a-adapt. Like we said in our trail braking episode, kung first time mo sa corner na yun, paano mong malalaman by how much you need to slow down the bike? Actually, ito yung dahilan kung bakit ayaw namin nagre-rely sa engine braking lang. Kasi, paano gagawin mo kung naka-engine brake ka na, naka-shutdown na yung throttle mo, nakahiga ka sa kurbada, tapos bigla merong obstacle. So, anong solusyon pag masyadong mabilis ka sa kurbada? Well, obviously, you have to slow down more. Pero ang problema nga, babalik tayo doon, paano mong malalaman by how much you need to slow down kung hindi mo alam kung gano'n ka-sharp yung kurbada? So, babalik talaga tayo sa trail braking. So, learn it, guys. You don't have to use it all the time. But believe me, it's a skill that you want to have. Kasi pag dumating yung time na kailangan mo to, hindi mo pwedeng pag-aralan to at that time lang. Another error is premature corner entry. Napaka-common na to, lalo na sa mga beginner rider. Ang tendency ng marami, lalo na baguhan, is to start turning too early kasi takot sila mag-overshoot. The problem is, kung maaga ka nag-turn in, maaga ka rin mag-apex. And this leads to several problems. Number 1, limitado yung vision mo through the corner kasi nando ka sa inside. Hindi mo nakikita yung nasa kabila. Number 2, you are forced to go wide at the exit. Kasi when you are already on the inside and you need to lean the bike more, wala ka ng room to do this without moving into the opposite lane if it's a left-hander. Or running off to the inside if it's a right-hander. So, anong cause ng early turn-in? Well, number 1, yun nga, natatakot ka lumapit ka to the edge of the road. Kaya maaga mo tina-turn yung bike. Number 2, target fixation on the inside of the corner. Kasi takot kang tumawid doon sa line, tinitingnan mo to. Remember vision, the bike goes where you look. Well, number 1, remember, huwag mong uunahan yung kurbada. Sabi nga sa Canyon Chasers, wait for the corner to come to you. Huwag kang magsisimulang lumiko nang hindi pa nagsisimulang lumiko yung kalye. It will take some practice, pero makukuha mo rin ito. Second, to correct target fixation, look into the corner. Do not look at the line. The problem of slow steering is when nandun ka na sa turning point, nagsimula ka ng lumiko, pero ang bagal ng pagliko ng bike mo. Ang cause ito is usually not enough countersteering. The solution is simple actually. You have to make a conscious decision and effort to countersteer and lean that bike the moment you reach a turning point. So with this episode, we conclude the first cycle of our series on Anti-Overshoot. By learning braking, trail braking, countersteering, and using your eyes, and now cornering, kompleto na ang gamit nyo. Learn and master all the skills that you have learned in those episodes and this one, and we promise you, you will never overshoot again. Alam nyo, motorcycle dynamics is a very complicated topic involving engineering, physics, physiology, lahat. So it's quite a challenge to really, digest all of this and simplify them para madaling maintindihan ng common rider. But that is what we signed up for nung binuo namin yung channel na to Kasi nga sabi namin, we want to gather the best material out there na kahit na yung pinaka-complicated and present them in a format that will be understood by the ordinary rider. That's our mission. So that has been our episode for the week, and hopefully Again, kahit pa paano nakatulong kami sa inyo. Now, if you like what we're doing and you think nakakatulong to sa inyo at sa mga kaibigan nyo, kindly help us spread the word of motorcycle safety by liking, subscribing, and sharing us with your friends. Until next time, see you in LearnMoto. Ride safe, everyone.